What's happening, you guys? Veggie here, and I've actually just finished the second week of my fat loss phase. Now, I'm not going to lie with you guys, the second week has been very tough, mainly because for the second week I've been on 2,500 calories. Now, 2,500 calories is the normal recommended amount a male should have when they're exercising. Now, myself, for me, this is about my maintenance calories. So, if I'm doing cardio on top of my maintenance calories, I will be losing weight. Now, I started this fat loss phase at 82 kilograms, and I will be measuring myself every week, but I know in the previous fat loss phases I would show that progress, and in a way it had its own benefit, but I really want to keep the surprise, you guys. I really want to keep all that to the end when I have progress photos and I can show a comparison from before and after, because I took progress photos on the 3rd of January, so not exactly at the start, which is kind of a shame, but 3 days isn't going to make a huge difference in terms of fat loss, so I don't really mind that anyway. But the second week has definitely been a struggle, and it's made me realize a lot of things. Maybe I might need to introduce certain things to increase certain missing nutrients, which we're going to go into right now. So right here, we're going to just look at what I've been eating. So for Monday, it's just typical, just Weetabix. And then for lunch, I actually had an onion bhaji sandwich, which was vegan, falafel and hummus, smoothie. I'm assuming I didn't really bring in any food into work on this day. I had monkey nuts, I had edamame, soybeans, all generally nice food. Coconut water, because coconut water is actually very good. It has a lot of beneficial properties. I did have a packet of soy crisps. See, I do feel like I'm overloading a bit on soy, and I might need to look for other sources of protein. I had granola and a banana, so that's a pretty standard day. 100 grams of protein, not too shabby, but I wish I did have more protein. Considering I'm in a fat loss phase, I do want to hit around 120. Now this day I'm at, 99 grams of protein, not too bad. I do hit quite a high amount of carbs and quite deficient in fat, but that's not too bad, you guys. Like I said, I'm a little bit below the threshold I wanted to be for this week, but in general I have turned vegan, and I need to understand that when I've turned vegan, there are adjustments to diet. So for this day, I just naturally had Weetabix like I normally do. I'm sticking to chickpeas and red kidney beans for lunch, and a bit of Uncle Ben's whole grain spicy Mexican rice, which is quite nice. And this naked smoothie is really good. It's packed with loads of fruit, and that's in itself is brilliant. Now, why the hell are you probably thinking, why did I have Calippo for dinner? Now, Calippo is actually vegan, and the reason why I actually had Calippo was because I have a very sore throat, and it's very hard for me to eat sometimes. And the thing is, if I do have these ice lollies, even though they're quite unhealthy, it loosens my throat so I can eat a bit better. And that's the price I have to pay to get my, calories in, really. I have to have something unhealthy for a bit. Because the ice soothes your throat, right? So it's a lot easier to chew on food, and in general, it's just a lot easier. Alpro Soya natural yogurt, highly recommend. Very high in protein, quite low in fat and carbs. So I might start to top up on more of that to make up for that gap in macronutrients, which I'm suffering from right here. I need a bit more protein. Standard soy milk, protein Weetabix for a meal, and I did have some cherries. Oh, soothers, right, for my throat. So in general, quite a good day, and there isn't soy, which is quite nice, apart from the soy milk in both meals. So I'm not overloading on soy on that day, so I actually think I did quite well for that day. Now going on to Wednesday, I had soy for breakfast with Weetabix, a pretty standard at this point. Standard meal for lunch, red kidney beans and rice. Now for dinner, I actually went to Tesco and I found a sweet potato pakora wrap. Now this is actually Indian, if you guys don't know. You can go into Tesco. They have a Wicked Kitchen range, which has received a bit of criticism from the vegan community. I myself highly recommend it, and I actually love their meals. Go check them out, guys. But I actually had a shit ton of ice lollies for snacks. Obviously, like I said, to soothe my throat, because I'm just experiencing a lot of pain trying to get food down, and I'm doing a fat loss phase. I want to be lifting weights. I want to be hitting those goals. So I need to make sure I'm eating, and that's helped me eat. But at the same time, it's consumed quite a lot of calories out of my day. Near enough to 300. Jesus, that is a bit of an overkill. I'm trying to compensate, And I had Wicked for snacks, for dessert, And I had Wicked as a snack as well, rainbow curry bowl. That was quite nice. And see this again. This throat problem really was kicking off, you guys. Moving on to Thursday here. Now for Thursday, standard breakfast. Now one thing I did do was add bananas into my breakfast, which is quite nice. I did add sugar on top of that, which is quite bad. I mean, ideally, guys, if you're doing a fat loss phase, you either add fruit or you add sugar. Don't do both, which is what I did here, because you just end up, as you can see at the end, I had over 100 grams of sugar, which is quite bad considering I'm in a fat loss phase. I'll be cutting down the amount of sugar I'm having. Now for lunch, I actually had something I picked up from a previous day. I am actually buying ready-made meals sometimes, because quite simply put, I just don't have the time to make videos, go gym, do meal prep, do running, do all these things, and sometimes I don't get time to cook, so I'm just like, I'll pick up a meal from Tesco that's vegan, ready to eat, and that'll be me sorted. So that's what I did this day, 3 bean chili and rice. I recommend you guys try that out. That was actually vegan. Soybean packet of crisps, innocent smoothie, another smoothie for metabolism boosting, and it's just in general good for micronutrients. Alpro Natural soya yogurt, so you can dip the chili beans into soya yogurt. That's what I really love about soya yogurt, because you can dip something chili into it, and it just tastes amazing, you guys. You got that nice, spiciness and the coolness to it. Now for snacks, I had my typical snacks of Weetabix and soy milk. But this time I actually had a vegan paella. It said vegetarian paella, but the ingredients were actually vegan. And I hate it when this happens. When you find a perfect meal, it says vegetarian on the meal, and you're like, okay, I can't have this. And then you look at the ingredients and you're thinking, there is no animal products in this, not even dairy, milk, or eggs. So why, or even honey, So why did they not label this as vegan? And quite simply put, it's probably because the factory it was produced in had counter contact with milk. And I myself will consume products that have counter contact with milk, because I'm not that fussy when it comes to food. I mean, I think it's the kind of price we pay when we turn vegan. It is up to you whether you make that decision of having foods that have counter contacted with milk or you don't. Now, I'm one of those ones that do, and I don't see it as hypocritical in any way, because quite simply put, we just have to make up for the demand, of meat and dairy, and in that way, there is going to be some kind of contact. Anyway, instead of raffling on, I had falafels, which are quite nice. Cauldron actually make really good falafels. Check them out. Calippo again to loosen my throat. And moving on to Friday. Now, Friday was a bit of quite a nice day. So Friday was like essentially quite a relaxed day. I didn't really bring food in. So what I did was, for breakfast, I just had your typical Weetabix and milk. But now for lunch, I actually popped off to a sandwich shop, which we have around the corner at work. And they do a hummus baguette. And I made an estimate here in terms of calories, which is something you guys can do if you're struggling to, do your calorie counting. It does help out in that way. And I actually bought some Cauldron falafels to add into them, so you can make your own little vegan, sandwich if you really wanted to, because you got the hummus in the baguette, and then you just add your own falafels and add what else you want to it. But that's obviously outside of the services that the sandwich shop provided. They had their own falafels, but I didn't agree with them personally when I had them in the past. They were too dry, and I can't count the calories. Whereas Cauldron ones, I can count the calories, so that's why I chose Cauldron. In terms of snacks, more falafels, because I had to finish the pack off. I had a juice smoothie. I did have an Oreo because a co-worker offered it to me, and even though it's one of those products where it's vegan but it's counter contacted with milk, so that technically it's not vegan, right? But I had it because it had no animal products in it. Mango chunks, berry medley. So this would be my pre-workout, just to get a bit of sugar in before my workout. Frozen soybeans, very quick amount of protein just to add to my diet, so it's quite nice. I'll probably add that today, to be honest. Now for dinner, I actually had oriental spice tofu. I actually am not a huge fan of tofu, but that's because I don't know how to cook it. This company itself, it was okay at best. I don't think it was great or brilliant. Maybe in the future I'll make my own one, and my opinion on tofu might change, right? And I did have a bit of cold pasta, but that was obviously vegan. Moving on to Saturday. Saturday was quite a busy day, guys. I did slightly go over my calorie amount, but we were doing a lot of walking that day. So for breakfast, I had porridge and soy milk, and then when I was going around London, basically there was this veggie pret. So we basically got 3 wraps and we shared them, and that was quite nice. In terms of calories, I'm surprised that it was quite low in calories for 3. I guess it's 3 half wraps. So I guess in that way, it's kind of expected to only have 661 calories. And for dinner, this was the Mods pizza I was talking about in my previous cheat meal video, which was really lovely. And the Nando's hummus with peri peri dip, which is brilliant. You guys, I recommend you try that out. The Nando's starter hummus peri peri dip with pita bread. Now moving on to the last day, which is Sunday. Now Sunday was, I'm a bit more on my diet. So it's a little less flexible, which is what I'm trying to aim for. But obviously, during the week, I bought ready-made meals, so it's been a bit more flexible, and I probably shouldn't be doing that, right? Just haven't had the time to do meal prep, and I'm just trying to hit my calories amount and try and stay relatively clean. These ready meals aren't too unhealthy, you guys. Obviously, in moderation, right? If you have it all the time, then it is unhealthy, because some of the things they have in them probably, it'll build up over time to having maybe a detriment to your health, right? Because these are ready-made meals, you shove them in the microwave. I can't imagine they're particularly healthy, as opposed to normally when I freshly cook things such as, soybeans, kidney beans, chickpeas. I boil them, so they're freshly made, and they're a lot more healthier that way. Now, for finishing off, for Sunday, I had Quaker's Protein Original Porridge. Now, this is actually I thought because it had the word protein in it, it would have whey protein in it. But I was thinking, just to double check, I'll check the ingredients. And it actually had soya protein isolate. So it didn't even have whey protein. So I could actually have that, which is really lovely. I might end up buying more of that in the future. I did have sugar. I might substitute that for banana in the future. Because obviously that granulated sugar isn't particularly healthy for you, as having fruit would give you some kind of benefit, whether it's vitamins or minerals. Moving on to lunch, I had Linda McCartney vegetarian sausages. Now, these are actually vegan, by the way, you guys. I checked the ingredients. As far as I'm aware, these are vegan. I had them when I was a vegetarian a lot, but I'm trying to stay away from processed foods. So this was more of a one-off meal, you guys. I had it with some Tesco micrograins fragrant couscous. And for snacks, I had quite a lot of snacks here. So this was when I was doing the vegan Nutella video, right? So I had 50 grams, which is a lot of this chocolate spread, right? I don't recommend you guys have that much if you're going to have it. 2 slices of Warburton's wholemeal protein bread, crunchy peanut butter, so that's crunchy peanut butter on bread as well. A packet of soybean crisps, a huge packet, which I don't recommend you guys do, but I was struggling for calories and I was just basically shoving down what I could, which is down to bad preparation, really. I didn't feel like I had much time during the day because I just had too much on to do. And I had an innocent coconut water. Coconut water is absolutely lovely, tastes nice, gives you a lot of health benefits, like I mentioned previously. And then for dinner, I basically just drained red kidney beans and chickpeas, and I had some apple and mango juice just for a bit of vitamin C, just for a bit of the immune system to kick, because it's that time of year where you're more susceptible to illness. My sore throat is kicked in. I don't want to get any more ill, really, so I'm just trying to be careful and make sure I have a good amount of micronutrients in my diet. Anyway, guys, that is pretty much the week summed up. Now, in terms of... So anyway, guys, that is pretty much the week summed up. So it's been quite a tough week. In the gym, I have been struggling quite a lot. The weight has lowered a little bit. Obviously, I'm on 2,500 calories, so it is going to lower a little bit. And for me to compensate, I have actually contemplated getting vegan BCAAs for intra-workout. Because previously, when I was doing my fat loss phase, I actually found it very beneficial. It would help out with intra-workout fatigue, and that's something I might compensate on top of my pre-workout. Obviously, with pre-workout, you cycle on and off, so with BCAAs, it will give me a kick as well when I'm off my pre-workout cycle to actually stay energized in the gym and hit the weights I want to hit, make sure I'm not dropping too much strength. I'm trying to aim in terms of cardio for doing it about 5 times a week, 2 miles a day. There are probably times, that's why it's 5 days a week. I could be doing it every day, but I feel like that's going to take its toll on my knees. And from what I understand about running constantly, it's quite bad for your knees in the long term. That's why I stay away from doing it every day. I might do low intensity cardio those 2 days a week where I don't do running, which is probably a pretty good idea to burn off those extra calories, you guys. Maybe I recommend you guys try that out, I do high intensity and low intensity, I think it's better to have a mixture of both. Because you just end up getting too bored doing one rather than the other. With running, you kind of feel demotivated when you're constantly doing it every single day of every week. So maybe mixing up with a bit of low intensity helps you take a break from that constant high intensity, adrenaline rush, want to do this, just get this over and done with. It's very stressful. So in that way, mix up your cardio, try new things. I've got a boxing bag. Sometimes I just go nuts at it, and that helps me reduce a few calories as well, Maybe not as much as running or long low intensity cardio, but it's a difference and it gives me a mental break, so I might sometimes have that during the week rather than running. Anyway, guys, just to finish off, that's pretty much this video summed up. It's been a bit of a struggle. This is my 2nd week of vegan, 2nd week of fat loss, hoping to hit my goals, hoping to get there. I still have yet to measure myself and see how much I'm losing, but I'll keep you guys updated, because at the end of this fat loss phase, I'll be showing obviously a before and after and a bit of posing, because that's what I did last year, and that's what I intend to do, you guys. I'll see you in that next video.